Welcome to First Sun News. This is Argo Mitro. During the short time that Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus was in charge, human rights activists and experts from South Asia and Europe spoke out about the widespread violations of human rights in Bangladesh. The declarations were made on Friday at a side event at the 60th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva. The Center for Gender Justice put on a discussion called Violations of Fundamental Human Rights, Rule of Law and Democracy in Bangladesh. It drew attention to how things have gotten worse in the country since elected Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was deposed on August 5, 2024. During the event, a short movie highlighted attacks on religious minorities, killings without trial, and the destruction of Sufi shrines and temples. It also talked about how extremist Islamist groups have openly intimidated and lynched members of the Awami League, and how media outlets have been physically attacked. Some of the panelists were Chris Blackburn, the founding editor of Narrative 360 UK, Suhas Chakma, the director of the Rights and Risks Analysis Group, India, Paulo Kasaka, a former member of the European Parliament and executive director of the South Asia Democratic Forum, Belgium, Natalia Sineva Pankowska of the Never Again Association, Poland, and Professor Medhabibe Milat, the president of the Global Center for Democratic Governance, Canada. According to Professor Milat, historic sites connected to the 1971 Liberation War have been destroyed, and since the interim government took control, at least 213 Awami League leaders and activists have been killed. He went on to say that there had been 30 murders of people from minority groups, and that mob violence had gotten worse, with 637 people killed in lynchings. He also said that 17 churches were burnt on Christmas Day 2024. Bangladesh has seen the most human rights violations in the past 54 years. People who are not in the majority are not the only ones who are tortured. No one has been safe in the last 14 months. He said that more than 30 members of the minority group had been slain and that there had been more than 2,500 reports of torture. A report says that mob lynchings killed at least 637 people. They are trying to hold a rigged election right now. Bangladesh has to go back to democracy, the rule of law, and justice. He went on, that's why we're fighting. Paulo Kasaka, who used to be a member of the European Parliament and is now the executive director of the South Asia Democratic Forum in Belgium, said the situation was a humanitarian crisis and that the interim government had manufactured more than 50,000 cases to make democratic movements look bad. This is Bangladesh's worst nightmare. He said, in these conditions, all elections are a fraud. It was taken by angry Islamists who want to destroy the country, even though many thought it was a strategy to change the government. Minorities are the first to be affected, but they won't be the last. Most people follow them. They are a threat to the people of Bangladesh, Kasaka said. For many reasons, people want to protest, but what we've seen in Bangladesh is someone who took power not to bring about any change or democracy, but to make it impossible to hold democratic elections for 18 months. It is impossible to hold free and fair elections in a country where the most important party is being persecuted the way it is, he said. Kasaka talked about what was going on in Bangladesh, adding, the most recent estimate of 15 million internally displaced people. They're just running away to avoid being killed, imprisoned, or falsely accused. Many people thought it was a scheme to change the government, but extreme Islamists took it over because they wanted to destroy the country. Minorities are the first to be hurt, but they are not the last. Most people follow them. They are a threat to the people of Bangladesh. Suhas Chakma said that Yunus's leadership was misleading the world by using the phrase an act of fraud. This government is most concerned with spreading false information. He said, human rights are getting worse quickly. Natalia Sineva Pankowska says that Bangladesh is going through its greatest crisis since it became independent in 1971. She even compared the current violations of human rights to the Holocaust in Europe during World War II. Christopher J. Blackburn, a British political researcher, says that a real movement must protect human rights. He said, a revolution without protection of human rights is not a revolution, and the media and minorities in Bangladesh are always being attacked. The speakers said that what they considered one of the most significant human rights crises in South Asia today needed prompt action from the international community. Blackburn said he thought, people in Bangladesh are very scared. I think people would have been happier if Muhammad Yunus had made a few little reforms before the elections. He said that Muhammad Yunus and the students wanted to hurt the basis of Bangladesh. but there are some radical Islamists out there. These people could be the ones who run Bangladesh's government in the future." He went on, "Bangladesh is very unlucky." Barrister Nijhum Majumdar, a Bangladeshi political activist living in the UK, said, "Western power has indirectly captured. I always say that the current scenario in Bangladesh is a proxy war with India. Bangladesh is the battlefield and India is the target. A lot of powerful countries back us because they know that Bangladesh is becoming an extremist Islamic nation. The government in Bangladesh is supporting terrorism." He went on to argue that Bangladesh can't be a front in a proxy war against China, India, or any other country.